Hello! Perfidious Pete here, back to sing another round of the Blobbing Out Blues in Stellaris. And since those apples caved in, I've got really nothing to do. Just ruling over this empire here and making some alien stew. It's just, I don't know, Stellaris. I mean, I want to say thank you, but I also kind of don't. Because due to your mid-game blues, now I know how Robert Johnson felt. I know what it is to sing the blues now. I mean, except for the whole selling my soul to the devil part. I don't really have that part fully under control. But to me, selling your soul to the devil always seemed like a terrible idea. Because one, the devil's always going to screw you. He's always going to crawfist on that deal. And two, I can't play either the guitar or the fiddle. So there's no way from out of that contract for me. If I sell it, it's going to be binding. I can't fiddle my way out of my mess. Just a bad idea. But these blues that we've got here, this has been, admittedly, probably a major, possibly the major criticism of Stellaris since its inception, and that periodically you'll go into a fight, and then it's punctuated action with Stellaris, I guess is sort of what I'm getting at. It's very short periods of intense action and interesting stuff, and then you got the doldrums that always follow, where it's just like, well, I've conquered something, and now what do I got to do? Now it's just time to go back to blobbing out, and the blobbing out is just very, very formulaic and repetitive, and there's not a whole lot of stuff in there to maybe spice it up. The diplomacy in the game is like relatively robust if you want to go that route. I mean, there are options. But the thing is, if you're going for a military victory, the diplomacy part of Stellaris really seems like irrelevant, basically. And somebody right now is like, Pete, why are you bringing up the diplomacy? Well, here's the thing. When you start, if I'm going to make a comparison, I'm going to try and go apples to apples here. I want to compare Stellaris to what I consider Paradox's flagship grand strategy game, Europa Universalis 4, which, by the way, if you haven't played, do yourself a favor, get it right now. For EU4, though, when you start blobbing out of control like the Peterians are doing here, just going on an unrepentant rampage of conquest across the galaxy, eventually the AI they'll all team up to stop you. You'll get a coalition against you, and it's not to say coalition wars are unwinnable, because they're not, but what they are is exciting. If we were doing this in EU4, we would have definitively had one or more coalitions banding together to stop us already, and we would have been forced to try and think our way out of either, one, slowing our expansion a little bit and trying to do some expansion through diplomatic means to avoid, warmongering penalties, or two, we would have just had to figure out a way to beat basically everybody else in the world at their own game in a defensive war. And that's interesting, but that kind of stuff Stellaris doesn't really have any of that. Nobody here is really trying to stop me. Now, the Valdari Stellar Empire is also kind of blobbing out of control a little bit. They've sort of gone the Peterian Empire meta. But I think at this point, we've probably got enough of a lead on them that they're never really going to be able to catch up, because every single one of these systems that we take under our aegis is one that we've denied the Valdari. Got these mid-game blues, man, but it's going to be, I mean, I hate to say this, but, the next couple episodes, they're going to be real dull, because it's going to be mostly just expanding and waiting to integrate the eruptions so that we can devour them, eat their babies, and eventually do the same to the Zaplos. We're just, we've got the cookie cutter carbon print working now, and now, I mean, we built a cookie cutter, now we're just got the dough, and we're chopping out cookies and chucking them into the oven. It's a recipe for victory. Is it an exciting recipe? I don't know. I don't think you're going to see this one on like the artisanal street corner in your local Seattle shop being like, oh, hand-baked cookies crafted by the finest cookie artisans in all of the universe and brought here to you for only 79 cents per cookie. No, we're not going to see any of that. These are going to be like, you buy these cookies in a bag at the supermarket for 99 cents a pound. That's what we got here. We also have a new faction. Internal political landscape led by Governor Carlos Gonzales. They call themselves a Prosperity Lobby. Members lobby for a national focus on financial growth and stability through peaceful means. Why do I have a feeling like we're not going to be friends? Also, how does the Popular Vote Society actually have 12 members? Aren't we suppressing this faction? We are, but they have a lot of members. A lot of members. They're really unhappy. The Prosperity Lobby seems like one we might sort of be able to work with. Traditional prosperity, Keep the peace. I mean, all right.
System survey complete.
Strategic resource control, strategic resource acquisition. Yeah. Solid liquidity. They want us to have 3,000 energy stored at all times.
Tile blocker clear.
That's a lot of energy to have just sitting around idle, Jack. You know what, Gonzales? I mean, I hate to do this, but I think I may have to suppress you. And wait a minute. How come you guys are upset? We haven't committed a giant massacre in a while. I don't really think there are any Leviathan Xenos available anymore. Traditional domination, asserting dominance, no immigration. Okay, invasive Xenos, I mean... Alright, Peterian Empire has Imperial Majesty. Their rule to be part of their species and will be angered by any non-Peterian Empire. Well, they should be happy about this. We have a Peterian ruler. This should be generating happiness for them. Faction suppressed. 0 months remaining. These guys are not suppressed. I am definitely not suppressing them. Oh, something wonky is going on here. Why do you have a -20 for being suppressed? 0 months remaining. Oh, does everybody get a penalty if we suppress? No, I am very confused by this. Faction suppressed. 0. Wait, we're not suppressing the Peterian Empire, are we? I am. Why? Well, fucking undo that. Why did we suppress our most loyal faction? That doesn't make any goddamn sense whatsoever. We were deliberately suppressing our own faction for some bizarre reason. All right, well, that's, I mean, problem solved. These guys are suppressed, right? Yes. Did we go in to suppress some other faction and, like, accidentally... Well, here, suppress these guys, because they're who we actually want to suppress. Why did we accidentally suppress... That had to have been an oversight that I did, like, a long time ago. And all it's done is driven support to other factions, which, you know what, really, I don't mind, because Banner of Triumph is sort of... They're sort of our boys. I'm actually considering maybe just embracing Banner of Triumph. What do you like? You like aggressive diplomacy. Well, we got that in spades. You like it when we subjugate people. You like us when we expand our borders. You like us when we have local rivalries. You like neighborhood rivals. You like us to be stronger alone. Yep. I mean, these guys... We're doing everything they love. We should just embrace them. Most of our people are the Banner of Triumph Foundation at this point anyway. You know what? Yeah, we're going to embrace this faction. Promote faction. What's embracing the faction do? Faction modifier 120 months, giving the faction happiness plus 20%. You know what? Shifts our ethics toward militarist. Aren't we already a militarist, though? I mean, we're fanatic xenophobes. Maybe not. Let's just be happy that they like us. Although I am a little displeased about the fact that some of our core faction here got the shaft for a little while, but they're going to rally up very quickly. We suppress these guys, right? Yeah, they're suppressed. Where do you have people? You have 5 supporters. Fort Pete, Pitami, San Pete. Okay, are any of these places actual planets, or are these all in a subsector? If these are in the subsector, I'm honestly not going to worry about it. Fort Pete, that's a subsector planet, I believe. Yeah, Fort Pete's a subsector. Pitami, I know that's a subsector. San Pete Cisco, subsector. San Pitego is not a subsector. Or is it? Oh, it is. And then Pete, these are all... You guys are on the outer fringes. You know what, Carlos Gonzales? I'm a little upset with you down there, but I honestly don't care enough about you to be bothered to trifle with you. So just do whatever you're going to do. I will suppress your faction and leave it at that. Meanwhile, the HIMSS factory is up here idle and probably has nothing at all to do. I mean, this system is in our space. We don't have an idle science ship right now that can go really do anything about that, however. Is there anything down here for you to build? No, although you're not quite claimed. Our borders down in District 9 are getting close to pulling that in. As soon as they do, we will go expand and take its resources, but until then, it doesn't really seem like we got a whole hell of a lot going on. Zeta Reticuli is not in. Some random leader gained a level that we barely care about. We still haven't surveyed Ofang? No, we have. Zaplo Imperium has a wormhole station there. Because of course they do. There's nothing our vassals love more than maintaining wormhole stations in all of our systems, even though those wormhole stations are going to be ultimately completely useless and pointless. I guess we can send you down here to Old Dwar to build mining stations. And that may be literally all we can get out of you guys. The Woo... Hey, Woo, you know what? There's a planet over here that's technically in the borders of Peterian space that has not been surveyed. You think you could go take care of that for me? That's a lot of jumps, but whatever. What else are you going to do with your time? I mean, it's not like you got a lot of pressing concerns, do you, Woo? Construction of a mining station. That... Okay, those are spaceports. Goibnu. All right. Pitago. We got a lot of surface construction. I did do a little planet maintenance in between episodes. We're getting minerals so fast at this point. It's getting kind of ridiculous. You're angry. Why? Oh, because your faction is suppressed. Well, okay, you're angry because your faction is suppressed. You're going to be more angry about being a slave. Enjoy that. I don't tolerate this nonsense. You guys want to join these factions and be all unhappy and start screwing off at work? I'm not going to be the tolerant boss who's just like, oh, you know, Jimmy here's having a bad week. I'm not going to do that. You're having a bad week in the Peterian Empire? Guess what? I'm going to ship you off to the fucking mines and you can see how bad of a week you have busting rocks while we slowly devour your soul. I'm assuming our labor is just like soul-crushing grind. When we send somebody down to the mines, it's not just a physical destruction. We're not just going to break down their bodies. We're breaking down their spirits too, because that's the way we roll. We've got relative abundance of energy here, so I'm fairly comfortable doing some upgrades. Any place we can get. Also, anything that gives us more science. Science is really our go-to bread and butter right now. Science is what we need. Anywhere we can expand and grab a little more science with upgrades, that's going to be our jam. Speaking of science, I mean, we could put some people over here. You know what? I need more than 2 minerals, or what I need more than 2 minerals and 1 food. Well, 1, energy. But 2, I'd really rather have this guy growing into a tile that's going to be doing science. So let's build you another science facility. And now we're out of cash, so we can just chill for a minute. We also do need to start stockpiling some cash here. I don't really care about that system survey. We do need to start stockpiling a little bit of cash, however. Wow, you're way out on the ass end of the universe, though. Why do we need to stockpile cash? Well, we've got we have a tiny bit of an issue in that we just finished our cruiser research, and we're going to need to build a whole bunch of them. Are you in Peterian space? You are. Come down here and build some mining stations. You could probably build a research station when you're done, assuming you have enough. Yeah, that's fine. The Stevedore, that leaves you, I think, with absolutely nothing to do, doesn't it? Alright, I think maybe we'll have you build some wormhole stations then. We'll go to the edge of Zaplo space. Maybe build a wormhole station in the Zaplo Imperium's, like, heart, in the heart of the Empire. Alternatively, we could just build one here in Dandar and see about expanding. You know what? Let's do that instead. Go to there, and once you're in Dandar, build me a wormhole station on the outskirts here. Oh, well, how come I can't? System's gravity well. Build a wormhole station. Wasn't in their gravity well. Don't give me this gravity well nonsense. What are you, Professor Brian Greene, writer of the Elegant Universe? I think not. Talking to me about gravity wells and shit.
Anomaly found.
Go ahead and research that. We also have another idle construction ship. I'm having trouble finding busy work for these planets. I really am. Let's see. Can we terraform this planet? This planet we can terraform. It's a tundra world. We could turn it into any one of these. 2,500 energy to terraform a planet, though. That seems like prohibitively expensive. I suppose if we weren't doing a military conquest and weren't maintaining a massive armada at all times and constantly constructing a massive armada, those might be more approachable figures for us. Our spaceport, you finished your core. Yeah, you did. So, what do we say we have you go ahead and build some of our most ruinous ships? We got the Clam Crusher. We got the Clam Destroyer. The Clam Wrecker is real expensive, actually. 754 minerals, huh? Well, you know what? Now I'm curious. We're going to let a month go by and build one of those just because I want to see... I really am curious what its overall power output is going to look like. What's its fleet power going to be? Also, we got more advanced shielding. We might as well upgrade it before we start building them. Hyper shields are stupefyingly expensive. 95 months, don't care about blue lasers. Advanced combat rolls is interesting. 34 months. Plasma accelerator. That's an energy weapon, right? Yeah. Subspace sensors is mostly... That gives us bonus tracking, though, right? It does. We may take that one. In fact, you know what? Yeah, I want the bonus tracking. And then for this, cheaper war demands, ecological adaptation, allows us to terraform inhabited planets. That's... Now, you know what? Let's just get another core system sector. That's fine. We can pull something out of... We can either pull one out of a district, or we can just go colonize a new world. Let's take that instead. Turgenev's still working on our Ripper autocannons, but before we start building some of these ships then, I feel like what we should do is go to the Clam Wrecker. We can upgrade it. We've got better shields now. Why not take advantage of the better shields? We've got advanced shields. Let's plop these bad boys on here. It does give us a little bit of an energy deficit. Also, we would really want to do that. So we're down 25 energy. So before we had... Okay, what did our previous design have? Before we upgraded it. Pull all this stuff back. When we did it with these shields, we were like this and we were energy neutral. And we had 450 shields. Also, don't we have better armor now? Yeah, here, we can... Armor is cheap. Do that. So we got 450 shields. If we upgrade our shields to advanced shields, can we increase that while remaining power neutral? So if we do like this... That gets us 560 shields, and if we put one medium fusion reactor in there, that gives us more shields and extra power. I like it. It's actually a little suboptimal because we're overpaying. So you know what? Here, let's get rid of this. Because we really only need 5 power. We could just put like a shitty fusion reactor in there, right? Even that makes too much. We don't have a small slot available. This does lower our overall mineral cost, though, right? 852, and if we put the big one in, 872. So, yes, this gives us more shields and saves us a little bit of cash. Alternatively, we could dump the armor completely, put in the cold fusion reactor here, and use this extra 35 power to tag in another shield. That gives us 700 shields. We're still overpowered, though. What if we just do this? -5, so we'd have to go with the level 2 fusion reactor. That feels pretty effective. 700 shields. Yeah, we're updating this design. It's going to make us a little bit more expensive, but I think the initial investment is going to be worth the long-term returns. Catch my drift? Also, we probably can't build one of these now because they're going to be way too expensive. Yeah, it's 788 now. Even with our discount, we still don't have enough because we did increase the cost of the ship. Let's let time run by a little bit more, and then we'll start cranking out the, well, you know, I say cranking out, but we ain't exactly going to be cranking those bad boys out, because they're real expensive. Unusual tectonics, I mean, sure, that's fine. Got a nice anomaly, could give us some, extra science, which we desperately need. Oh, we got another Unity thing, though. So domination can get us, vassals increase our naval capacity by 20% of their own, pretty good. Tributaries give you an additional 10% of their income. We don't have any, so we're going to take this one, fleet levies. Our naval capacity is now kind of stupid. Like 193 is ridiculously huge. We're going to have a hard time even building up to that level. I'm beginning to wonder if we needed to build 3 cruiser shipyards because our ability to actually produce cruisers is going to be limited by mineral input. We don't really have enough minerals to handle all this. Are you? Yeah, the Goibnu's building. We've got these construction ships not doing anything. I feel like we should have them doing something. I don't want them sitting around idle, but what the hell are we going to have them do, though? That's the question. What do we give them to do? Could inhabit that ocean world. We could start spamming out some colony ships, I suppose. Apparently cruisers take an extraordinarily long time to build, but that's fine. Build me another Clam Wrecker. Very curious what their overall military power is going to be. Very, very curious.
System survey complete.
We don't have anything for this construction ship to do. You know what? BHY Yoglum, I'm just going to disband you. We don't need you. You're not doing anything. We're just paying maintenance on you for effectively no benefit. Is there that system's fully surveyed? All right, well, we don't need to go there. Hey, what? Okay, hold on here, Human Torch. Whatever you're doing, stop it, first off. Knock it off. And then why don't you come here, survey here, survey, and where was that other system? You're building a wormhole generator? Stevedore? Okay. I mean, you're one of our original ships, so you can stay. We're also going to get a big influx into our armada when the eruptions get finished integrating, which, by the way, 43 months for that. Okay.
Construction complete.
So it's 43 months before there's a brand new spanking species of alien on the menu. We got some idle science ships. That's going to be the woo. This is in Peterian space now, which is great because we have the Stevedore, which is idle, who's going to come up here and gobble the shit out of all this. Research stations, and when you're done with that, mining stations, please. Woo. In the meantime, sort of at a loss to what to give you to do. We've got this guy up here handling this shit. The Kura homeworld. New situation one thing? It says we have... Never mind. I thought we had we do have a research opportunity. Science ship. Can you come over here and do whatever this is? Research project. Scientist skill 2. Oh, we need a 5 skill scientist to do that one, huh? Well, I guess that's off the menu for you, isn't it, Jonna back here? You know, somewhere the ghost of Shang Wu is just shuddering in her grave, assuming we buried her and did just jettison her into space, which we probably just jettisoned her into space. Somewhere, though, she's shuddering in her grave, disappointed because her namesake is out here needing to be a higher science skill and just not having the chops for it. 98 some years, Wu faithfully served the Peterian Empire. Okay, so the Clam Wreckers got the power. 378. That's pretty good. 378 is an impressive amount of force from one ship. We got 600 for 8. Naval capacity. That's real good. That's real good. Anything for you to do here? Or are you just also potentially getting fired? Out of a cannon into the sun. Any of these? Are you in? Not claimed by any no empire. Not claimed by any no. Okay, so these are not. I'm tempted to come out here and throw a frontier outpost in Selnock. You know what? I'm beyond tempted. Do it, in fact. Come out here and build a frontier outpost. Around that nice little blue star in Selnock. That's going to get us... It should get us Zosma. It should get us... It may not give us Fredima or Fedima. It may not get us Pythia, but it's going to get us very close to all these. It seems like a solid investment of our time and troubles. What else to do? We're sitting here surveying and building shit. This is all that's left to do. Survey and build, survey and build, survey and build. I would like, you know, Stellaris, maybe a little something else to help give me some engagement. Is there something else at the moment I could be doing? I know this is a 4X game and expanding and exploiting is an integral part of that 4X experience, but this... I'm tired of... I've got the cookie cutter built, and now I'm just chomping out the cookies. It's just another day in the cookie mines, rolling out the dough, stamping out the shapes, putting them in the oven, tossing them into bags, shipping them to the supermarket, and direct onto the consumer. Getting a little weary. We also are going to have idle construction ships. We don't really have anything we can do with these. There's nothing left to build. I've got a real Alexander situation here. I'm about to weep for there are no more worlds to conquer. Yeah, I really don't know what else to do. So, you know what? Some of our construction ships, I guess we'll just bring you back to Earth. So we're paying less maintenance on you. And construction ship factory, same thing. We don't, I mean, I don't want to disband you, but I don't have anything for you to do. Then again, you have been out building the Empire for the last, like, 250 years. Maybe it's time you got a break. I kind of feel like maybe you deserve it. You guys have probably earned a vacation. 200 straight years of work. You're probably due for a little vacay. So let's get to Earth. Build me another Clam Wrecker. These cruisers are devastating. As soon as we get the minerals for this one, we're going to crank out another Clam Wrecker.
Complete.
What was that? Okay, somebody built something on a planet that we're barely paying attention to. More system surveys.
System survey complete.
Construction surveys. Research! Well, this we care about. Subspace sensors. Why did we research that? It unlocks a new component. Oh, we got... Okay, it increased the tracking on our ship, right? Capacitor fields. 50 months. What does this do for us? Capacitor fields, which do effect on allied ships' monthly shield regen. I don't know how useful that is. Applied superconductivity. You know what? Applied superconductivity is very expensive, but would be extraordinarily useful to research. And that being said, I'm pretty sure we're just going straight into antimatter power. Pete, that's going to take 68 months. Yes, it is. But it will dramatically increase the overall effectiveness of our combat ships. It's more systems dedicated to defense, less dedicated to energy creation. Construction ship HIMSS factory. I have nothing for you to do. Just, you're going to have to be content to be idle. I'm sorry. That's actually, oh, by the way, I'd like to point out, construction ship HIMSS factory, you're actually living Perfidious Pete's dream right there. Just being content to be idle.
Construction complete.
Unemployment. We have pops that are not working at you don't have a job. Huh. Well. What's the focus of this planet? It seems to really be mostly focused on research. I mean, it has some small amount of energy generation. It's also doing, like, not insignificant things with food. I really don't want to have you idle. Also, we do need to clear one of these tiles so you can continue to grow, so let's just chop that down. You know, it's been a while since we've gone through our planets to just make sure everybody is where they need to be. So let's take a moment and do a little planet maintenance here. Our food situation is still relatively good, so I don't want to upgrade farms. This is an energy planet, dyed in the wool, tried and true, but they don't have a population that's not currently doing anything, so I think they're fine for now. Ton of upgrades available here. This is by and large a food planet. They are almost growing a pop on... Okay, I mean, we've already got a building. I don't really want to upgrade an idle building. But if these guys are mostly making food, and some small amount of science... Let's give you a biolab. I'm not going to upgrade farms. We don't have... Let's get some cash here and roll through all our planets. This place is an energy powerhouse. Okay, we're just going to... This is going to take forever to upgrade, and they have a bunch of stuff already queued. Excuse me, sir? Why are you upset? Well, then, I guess we'll just have you go be a slave, then, if you want to not make as much science as you're supposed to be making, and newly uplifted... Steve, the former slave, is going to be doing your research projects from now on. Squeaky wheels in the Perfidious Empire don't get don't get the grease, rather. Squeaky wheels in the Perfidious Pete Empire get chopped off and replaced with new wheels. New, better, less disagreeable wheels. Anything we really need to do with this planet? No, it's got a bunch of upgrades already on the queue, so they're sorted. You have room to grow. Don't really need any energy upgrades. You're actually growing a pop on a building that's already built, so you're sorted. Petersburg, how about you? I know this is gripping content, by the way. Watch as Pete slowly goes through and micromanages the 10 planets in his empire, even as he plans to get an 11th planet in his empire because apparently he didn't feel that he had enough to micromanage already. Petersburg. I mean, what to say about this planet? It's a goddamn paradise. It's a utopia. It's fantastic. It's almost, well, it's actually probably slightly better than Earth. I mean, we're good. We got nothing else to do. We can just sort of idle. We have unemployment, but we fixed that problem? No, we did not. This guy actually still needs a job. So, let's go back and fix the thing we were supposed to be fixing, the movement that started it all, figure out what the hell it is we're supposed to be doing. What do we want to do with this guy? I mean, I suppose we could just swap these two, like that. I don't really want to build a building for an ungrown pop. I would much rather spend time and minerals clearing a tile, but we don't have enough minerals to do that currently. So I guess we'll just sit on our hands.
Construction complete.
Oh, good. What, are you bankrupt again, District 9? Of course you are. Well, here you go. Cousin Kuzkin needs another 400 energy credits from his old Uncle Pete there. Old rich Uncle Pete. Rich Uncle Pete! I know I'm slowly bankrupting the Empire, but can I have some more money, sir?
Research complete.
Jacob back here has leveled up and become an archaeologist. Good for her. We got another core sector system. I mean, I think we're going to take this tile blocker. One, because it's cheap. Two, because we actually have some of those tundra tiles that I wouldn't mind getting rid of. And I think that's where we're going to wrap things up. I mean, I don't know what to say about this. It's just another episode of the old mid-game blues here. I don't know where to go with this. We have to do this level of maintenance. It's got to be done if we want to go long-term success. We can't just straight up roll into immediately another fight with another overwhelmingly weak enemy that we're going to just fucking eradicate in like 5 minutes. I mean, I suppose we could, but we probably shouldn't. What resource is this? Bonus hull points is intriguing. Swarmer missiles and armor torpedoes I don't care about. Mining network 3. Meh. Defense stations could be useful. I don't really feel like we're going to need defense stations until we start going up against the Valdari. Which is going to happen, admittedly, and possibly relatively soon. These guys have jump spiral arms now, too. Frank Mooterwood and the Valdari are starting to look like a real threat. The question is, are we better to tangle with them immediately, or are we better off to just let them be? Is it better to aggressively infiltrate and attack them, or are we better to just sort of let them slide? Let's do this, because 10% hull hit points is just basically a 10% better ships. And then I think we're gonna have to start doing some expansion planning out here. We really need a wormhole generator down here. Let's grab one of our idle construction ships, because we have like 9 of them now. You're sitting at Earth. You're also sitting at Earth. The Torch is okay, well, you can't be idle, Torch. You still have shit to do. There are planets over here that have not been surveyed. Speaking of which, if we're going to come out in this direction, and I kind of feel like I want to, I think we're going to come down here to Maestros and probably build a wormhole generator. In the meantime, let's get you over here. Maybe start surveying these systems, because we can, and we don't yet know anything about them. And we're going to grab one of these construction ships, have it come out here and build a wormhole generator. And that's it. We're done. If you enjoyed the episode, feel free to drop a like down in the comments section. Support really does mean a lot. I know this is dull, but this is Polaris, and look, this is Polaris. Stellaris. Sorry, the Pauseable League has been destroyed by Frank Mooterwood and completely destroyed by its enemies. How will this affect the political climate of the galaxy? Well, I mean, the Pauseable eating them Pauseable bow sandwiches have been, it's honestly, it's a loss to the culinary world here in the galaxy. No more Pauseable boy sandwiches. Yeah, you already mentioned that they were dead. Thanks for mentioning it again, though. I guess the computer wants to make sure I'm really, really worried about that. I'm sorry about that. This is Stellaris. I mean, this is a big chunk of the game, is just sort of this mid-level management at the mid-range game, and doing this well is the ultimate recipe for long-term success. Thanks very much for watching, though. So I still appreciate it, and hopefully things will pick up in the future. We probably are going to declare war on the Commonwealth of Miral very shortly. If you want to see that, might consider subscribing as well. New episodes, every single day. Right now, though, thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.